SKTV.
Who is this movie supposed to be for? For the life of me, I can't figure this mess out. Is it supposed to be for men? Is it supposed to be for women? Is it supposed to be for children? Like, who is this for? You got this article courtesy of Bounding Into Comics. The Marvel's executive producer says film was specifically designed, quote, so that women from all walks of life could relate to it. The Marvel's executive producer, Mary Livanos, recently revealed the film was designed to target women from all walks of life. Livanos spoke with Total Film about the upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe project, where she first contrasted it with the Avengers films. She said, the Avengers movies are these epic conclusions to chapters of storytelling, whereas this is a team-up within the narrative that we didn't necessarily expect from Marvel. Usually you wait for characters to show up all together in Avengers movies. No, that's not how that works. She then revealed the film was designed so that women could relate to it. We were excited to design a team-up featuring characters that women from all walks of life could relate to. While Livanos, I'm going to butcher this every time, claims the film was designed to have women relate to it, Livanos admitted to Entertainment Weekly back in July that the idea of the character's powers getting entangled was taken from the original Captain Marvel comics from the 1960s. EW reported, Livanos notes that the idea of location swapping harkens back to the early Captain Marvel comics from the 1960s, where Mar-Vell, the first Captain Marvel, and human Rick Jones would swap places using magical Kree bracelets called negabands. Interestingly, the film's gender-swapped villain, Dar-Ben, appears to be wearing what could be the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of a negaband, an official still from the film. In Captain Marvel 17, it's explained that Rick Jones and Mar-Vell can swap places by slamming the negabands together. Rick Jones first acquires the negabands and puts them on and is able to communicate with Mar-Vell, who is stuck in the negative zone. Mar-Vell instructs Rick Jones to slam the bands together, and the two swap locations with Mar-Vell materializing in the physical world while Rick Jones found himself stuck in the negative zone. However, as the issue progressed, it would be revealed that not only are the two connected physically with each other, but they also share an emotional and mental connection. Rick Jones explains, something happened to me when we two traded atoms. Something like emerging. He's part of me now, like I am of him, and I even share Mar-Vell's desire for revenge. You probably can't read this, but they have the whole panel here. This is really good art. Really good art and old-fashioned, more basic coloring. Love that stuff. While Livanos admitted the film took the idea of power entanglement from the original Captain Marvel comics, she did not explain exactly how the entanglement works in the film, but only noted that each of the characters has light-based powers and that this likely has something to do with this. They're doing this so they can say they used the comics. So that they can say that they paid homage to the comics, which, if you're trying to appeal to women, how many women have read the original comics as opposed to men? Of that age, of that time frame. And even now. It's a very, very odd move, in my opinion. The film's official description also confirms this entanglement, but does not provide any details on how it works. It states Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree and taken revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. But unintended consequences see Carol shouldering the burden of a destabilized universe. While her duty sent her to an anomalous wormhole likened to a Kree revolutionary, linked to a Kree revolutionary, her powers become entangled with that of Jersey City superfan Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and Carol's estranged niece. Wait, what? Carol's estranged niece, now Saber astronaut Captain Monica Rambeau. Together, this unlikely trio must team. Wait. Her niece is black? Was there an adoption story that I missed? Estranged niece. What do you make of Livanos explicitly stating the film was designed so that women can relate to it? Confusing, to say the least. That's my takeaway from this. I've got a couple of questions. I know none of these are particularly going to be answered by anybody, but who is this for? Why is this being made? We've got an excuse for Kamala Khan, who nobody likes because her show did terrible. Captain Marvel, who nobody likes because her movie did terrible. And a completely new character that nobody has heard of, whose movie is also going to subsequently do terrible. This is for nobody. They're hyping this up. And this isn't even the only more recent article they've done on Captain Marvel. If we go down, we'll see further. Let's see if I can find it here. It's a couple days old. Or actually, it's right next to the other one. The Marvel's director Nina DaCosta claims film is different from other Marvel films because it's really wacky and silly. So it's a Marvel movie. Oh, thank goodness. I'm so relieved because, for a second there I thought it was going to be a DC movie, I'm relieved to hear that a movie called The Marvels is going to be a Marvel movie. The Marvel's director Nina DaCosta recently claimed that her film sets itself apart from other Marvel Cinematic Universe fare because it's really wacky and silly. Do these people not pay attention to any prior continuity or films for any length of time before they come out and make these statements? The worlds we go into in this movie are worlds unlike you've seen in the MCU, bright worlds that you haven't seen before. Let's see. Yeah, even the article points out, however, this type of humor is nothing new for Marvel Studios, and it's wild to try and claim that it somehow sets the film apart from other Marvel Studios' production. In fact, the opposite is true. Yeah, the establishing wackiness factor was the original Guardians of the Galaxy. And if you want to be really technical, Iron Man. But more so Guardians of the Galaxy. This is just the weirdest film out of Marvel. Secret Invasion did terrible, which is really bad news for them going into this. Most of the Marvel shows have done terrible. Most of the recent movies have done terrible. They don't have anything left. This is bottom barrel scraping stuff. This is just nothing. It's nothing. And it's for nobody. They're desperately trying to gain a majority woman audience that isn't there. I don't know how to explain this to them. The majority woman audience that they want just does not exist. It doesn't mean there aren't women fans of Marvel or of comic books. But there's not enough for this to be even close to a multi-million-dollar movie other than... who knows if they'll even make back the budget that they spent. Do they really think they're trying to compete with Barbie? Barbie almost made $1 billion. Do you think this will even come remotely close? Given the track record of recent Marvel, with bombs like She-Hulk and Ant-Man and so on? Who is this movie for? They keep saying it's for women, but the women aren't showing up to this thing. They didn't show up to the first Captain Marvel. They had to buy tickets for people. Who is this movie for? It's not for me, clearly, because I have no interest in seeing this. I saw the trailer and I groaned the entire time. Marvel is primarily a boys' brand, and this is something that people don't want to hear. Doesn't mean girls can't like it. Doesn't mean girls can't, be into the lore and enjoy the books. Nobody's trying to gatekeep like that. But to say that it is to try and transform it into a girl brand the way that Disney has been doing is pathetic. They've done the same thing with Star Wars. They're trying to feminize these brands because in their minds, women can't enjoy these things. It's like how they see race. People who look like me can't enjoy a superhero unless they look like me. So women can't enjoy superheroes unless they're women. Because no woman ever grew up loving Batman, Superman, Green Lantern, Flash, Spider-Man, the various X-Men. Although there were women on the X-Men team, but still. You're telling me there's not a single woman alive who liked Wolverine? It was only men? This is ridiculous thinking, and this is ridiculous pandering that's just going to fall flat on its face. I don't see this doing very well whatsoever. This movie has a market that exists in their own imagination. Doesn't mean nobody's going to go see it. It's going to perform like a movie performs, but it's going to perform badly, and they have to know it at this point because they already tried to delay it, and then I think they tried to undelay it because of the strikes. It's just a mess. It's going to be more fun to talk about it when it comes out because it's just going to be a mess. So many people are going to weigh in on it. There's nothing to this. This is for nobody. Now, am I saying you can't be a fan of or enjoy this film? You can do whatever you want. I know I have no interest in it. But there are people who enjoyed a lot of the Marvel bombs. I mean, that's your decision. But don't get upset at other people for pointing out that the movie is going to bomb and there's no audience for it. Just because you like it doesn't mean there's an audience for it, or that it will make back what they spent, or that it will be considered a success outside of the mainstream journalists. This is a movie that is dead on arrival as far as the public is concerned. The public is just marveled out. They've had enough. Here's what I think Marvel should do. Marvel needs to go and switch to focusing on animation. Build up a stable of direct to Disney Plus or direct to Blu-ray, direct to whatever, direct to consumer animated films based on the comics, like DC did. Do that, and then you can recoup what you've lost from these multi-billion-dollar lost movies. Or multi-million, rather. They haven't quite lost billions of dollars on these movies, just a few million. Disney's getting close to losing over $1 billion. It's ridiculous. But that's what they need to do. They need to go back to understanding who the characters are, why they exist, how they exist, instead of just giving them to every radical leftist that walks through the door and has an idea about reinventing these characters. These are not popular characters. These books, the books that these characters are based on, do not sell. They do not sell. That's not me complaining. That's me pointing out reality. These books do not sell. These characters do not sell. There may have been a time when Captain Marvel sold, but that was a long time ago. A very long time ago. So, anyways, I don't know who this movie's for. Maybe you can figure it out. I have no idea. But it'll be interesting to see what this film does at the end of the day. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Super Koopa TV. God bless. Have a good one. Peace.